Oh, Shalom. Whoa, look like I'm froze up here. Yeah. Okay. Well, those of you that's in the room, what we got here? We got, okay, it looked like my camera is frozen. We work on that, try to get it back to go where it needs. Well, Shalom to the house. It's real. Hallelujah. Just give me a few minutes here. I don't know. Just before we went on, the camera decided it was going to freeze up. So I'm going to redo it in that. And so shalom to everybody that's in the room so far. All right, let's see here. Let's try it all over again. I don't know who I'm going to blame. There's nobody here now. All right. Okay. I'm trying to get back there. Let's see if we can start it all over again. And if we not, we talking about unresolved issues. Well, this is an issue that is not solved yet, huh? And I guess with technology, sometime it may not get that way for a while in that. So it looks like they are making me sign back in. So we're gonna try to do that, and then if not, we'll definitely get to going here. Praise to the Most High. Sorry for the length of delay. Let's see what we got. I just enjoy the challenges that we have in life sometimes. All of those things helps us to continue to mold us. You know, things like that just kind of mold you when you have these things going on and the technology that we do have. Okay, we're going to get the password in here. We may be able to get started. And well, at least the camera anyway. But if we don't, it's no problem. If we don't get the camera, we're gonna keep going. Not at all. We are not gonna delay too much longer here. Okay. Let's try it all over again here. We're gonna. Oh man, the loving it, loving it. Yeah. Well, I don't have my co-writer with me. He is probably on his way to what they do best is what we say work, huh? On his way to work, and so he won't be riding shotgun with me tonight. And so at this particular time, I probably would have passed it on to him, see what was going on. Okay, we don't want to do that. All right, let's go back and see if we can. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is amazing because everything was going just fine. You know how you test everything before you get started, and so we're a few minutes in and still haven't got there. So I do apologize for that. And let me try this again. Oh man. Okay, we may not be able to get there, but it's okay. Once I do that, I may not get a chance to ever to get back. Okay. All right. What a wonderful day, huh? It's been a great day. Matter of fact, here in the Central Texas area, the weather, we had a good little breeze. Things wasn't going too bad. Then we got stopped there. So, okay, it's taken a while to connect, and I don't know how to get around this. So we're going to try it one more time, and if not, then I hope we all would understand in this. Oh, wow. Okay. Alrighty, ready, we're here. Okay, well, it looks like we're not gonna be able to get hooked up with the camera. So our picture had froze up, and that's okay. We will go on. We're taking those steps that we want to take. And most of all, let me I'll tell you what we can do is put up maybe a scripture or two in that. And then we'll see who's in the room, of course. With that, I want to change B here. All right. Okay. Well, all right. We're going on. Let's see let me check and see who's in the room and get set here. Okay. All right. Okay. We got everybody that, a shout out to those of you that are listening. And then some are listening, riding, and I know some that's traveling the roads today and also on tonight. So, and those have come back home to us. So grateful that the Father, bringing us through safely and getting us back, and then go as we take off and the different areas of the city and the streets and the country and everything else in that. All right, okay. So we're going to get started then. One of the things we want to talk about tonight, as I was thinking about this, one of the things is always in my heart is, we will always have these issues, right? The most important part, though, is if we continue to have unresolved issues, then other words, we're going to deal with say relationship with the brethren, and that's what one of the things that one of the scriptures in Matthew 18 that I am showing you here is we have to realize that we are talking about those that's in the covenant here. And so even that in your marriage, whatever the people that you deal with, if you don't resolve those issues, I found out in life, right? And I'm telling you something that, say we're going to always have those issues, but I realize I have some unresolved issues in my life. And so we need to look at it. How can we make more shalom? Because there will always be a problem, right? Remember this, all right? Before we even get started, before we go on, remember that all, not some, but all relationships have problems, right? That's what we're saying here. The problems that it is. Some is more intense than others, but we all relationship. First of all, you need to know that I don't care which one it is, all of them have a problem. And so I am looking at it. If I'm the problem in these relationships, then I want to make sure that I can ease those problems in order for there be shalom, right? I'm going to start with me. And most time we always start with somebody else, but I'm going to start with me. That's the best thing to do. So if this is issues in this relationship, I'm going to start with me first, right? I'm going to start with me because I am connected to this problem or this situation of what's going on. Especially when we're dealing with people, we're dealing with people on the jobs, and most of all in the assembly as well. So we must realize, and this is what if you don't get nothing else, remember that all of them. So that's a good place. So I say, okay, All relationships have problems. So it's nothing strange that I got. Okay, whether it's husband and wife, daughters, sons, or cousins, uncles, grandpas, whatever it might be. Okay, okay, we all got the problem. We all have to realize that, and we all encounter these problems in relationship. So it's nothing unusual, right? So I must identify what's going on though, right? Because I don't want this relationship to fail just because we didn't resolve this issue, in that. So because we must interact with one another, there's somewhere. Listen, you can run one way and get to another way, and it's still gonna be like that, right? You're gonna have the issues that you need. There are always gonna be issues that are in need to be resolved. So just me leaving a situation does not mean that I will not have no more issues. You will always have issues. There will always be issues there, right? And so that's one of the things that we must realize, that we will have issues. That's the problems in relationships, and that's what we have. And so it manifests itself though in various ways though, and one of them I found out that one of the main one is miscommunication. You have those miscommunication. What's your priority is not my priority. So it becomes a conflict, right? And then there's a personal struggle that I'm going through. Now, right now, I just want to, like I say, I'm using me, and I think if we all put it in our corner that we are the ones, right, are having this issue, than the other person, because you know what? You can't control nobody else, But let me also tell you that those of us that are in covenant with the Most High, you should be able to do that. It said, if your brother, in verse 15, if your brother sin against you, right? Unresolved situation, your brother. Now, just remember, right? Your brother. And then the sister in too, all right? If your brother, if they sin against you, we talking about we have to listen. These issues they have to, because they connect to other things, right? And they're connecting. You can carry those. Sometimes you can carry them from years, and so we don't want that's too much. We have too much going forward that we're gonna have issues in. Then we need to stay here, right? We can't stay here. But one of the things, and I know we are good, right? I hear people all over this, you could do all kind of teachings on 18 and 15, right? It said, go to your brother, right? So you go and reprove him. So what I want want us to realize is I'm finding out that these issues that are unresolved, then they always go through other people instead of going to the two or whatever. Okay, we're gonna use two today. The two that needs to talk. When it says go to your brother, go to your sister, everybody else. But this is how you resolve this, right? There could be so much thing because this could be complex, right? But there's many different range of issues here, and they can be vast, right? Especially in our day of influence today, right? But that's just the nature of the relationship. So most time I have to find out what is the right way and what is the wrong way, and all of those good things. So it just is the nature of all things. So once I realize, and that helps me to know that that all marriages have problems. Once I realized that, I said, okay, all right. Now how I'm going to handle this though, because I don't want it to fail. Right? No relationships, any relationships. I don't want none of those relationships to fail. None of them. Right? So I need to know that. So in our scriptures, of course, this goes on, but we always quote this. But the thing is, do we go and do this? All right? It's a do thing. The scriptures is a do thing. And I know that's not popular, but in order for us to have the shalom that we need, I didn't say probably unless, because those issues are there, right? So one problem that you solved, here comes another one. Why? Because life is before us. The unknown is before us. We don't know, but the present we can deal with. You understand? And so we have to make sure that we make these conflicts a priority, right? These are personal struggles that we have. And so we have to deal with them. And so one of the ways that we deal with them, when you have it, say, go to your brother. That's a principle, right? We're going to everybody else. Go to your brother. Now, when you go to him, it's between you. This is the scripture that I'm reading here. It's between you and him or her alone. You see that right there? It's matter of fact, let me just go ahead and put this all the way up. Make this let me see if I can let me solo this real quick if I can. Put this all the way up. It is very, very important that we understand that him alone, that's what we want. Him alone. There we go. All right. Him alone. Between, so that's you and the person. Well, in this thing, of course, it was talking about the judgment. But one of the things is you alone. So when I have unresolved issues, if it's on the job or whatever, I need to go to that. If it's with the one that's over me, if it's my management, if it's my employees, if those things are there, then that's what I need to do. I need to go to the person because it won't get resolved through a third party, a fourth party, a fifth party. It won't do that. So what I need to do is go, and that's what I need to do. Go. Him alone, her alone, right? That's what you do. Y'all are working this out. So when you come together, whatever this is, we have to make sure that this issue is resolved. So other words, the agreements, we talk it out. And so many times there's so many things that's being held back, right? And I know they're doing that because just in relationships themselves, we have a tendency to hold things back, right? Because we don't want to make more problems. But the problem with the problem is the unresolved problem. So we need to get those first, and it will help the rest of our relationship. It'll help the rest of our problems because I'm not carrying problem 1 with problem 2, with problem 3. Now I got 1, 2, and 3 with me. But if I get rid of problem 1, then I'm only dealing with 2. If I get problem 2, then I'm only dealing with 3. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? But if I don't deal with it, they resolve and I'm carrying them with me. Why? Because I didn't go to them. My brothers, my sisters, those that's on the job. The quicker you solve that, the quicker y'all get together, right? And sometimes, it's a lot that's in that, right? Because there's a lot that we have to deal with, right? But the matter has to be settled. You have to settle that. Whatever it might be, you have to settle that. We don't want this to continue to be an issue in that. We have to come to a conclusion. You and that person, right? Not everybody else. You come to the conclusion with everybody else, right? And you're doing that. Now, there could be, but let me interject this because this here is something that we need to understand. With all of our set apartness, with all of what we thinking, we doing, following the things of the Mashiach, right? 2 brothers, 2 sisters can resolve any problem. Anytime you put the Father before us, we should be able to do it. Listen, that is a relationship. That's what that is. That's relationship. That's just not, I know today we use that word. Oh, you're a brother, a sister, no matter who you meet, right? But when we think about the family that you may have, right? That of the blood, right? Think about that family. We talking about family here. That's what we're talking about, right? So with you but we have to realize that our love for one another, we have the same creator of the universe, and we call him our Father. Yes, we do. And so the same thing that goes for me, guess what? Yes, it goes for you also. The same thing. So when we come together, number one, we coming together in love. Why? Because he said love one another. What else did he say? He said forgive one another. So we were resolving this issue. We had an issue, right? Because why? Because I'm different from you. My little personality that I have, the things that I think are critical and the things that I don't think and the things that I encounter and all of those things. Even at the job, they think that this is more important than that and that's more important than this. And so all of that is just the life situation. But when those of us that in covenant come together, we have to come together in shalom. We want to resolve the problem. Right? We want to resolve that. And so when those other things come up, it shouldn't be connected or tied to, right? And so that's the reason the forgiveness come. That's the reason all of those things come. So you go to them and them alone. And I know most times you say that, well, you know, why didn't you come to me or whatever? But the thing is, you have to make sure that you have an open heart and to receive somebody in order for them to come to you. Sometimes we don't know how to encounter one another, right? And that's important. Listen, this is a challenge, but this is what it's all about. In order for us to move forward, you have to have challenges. And if you get those challenges and you get unresolved issues, you can't move forward because that person will pull you back all the way to that issue again. You have to let that issue go in order for it to happen. If you don't, it'll keep going. It'll keep going. And that's not something that we want to come to the conclusion. And we want to be effective when we address those issues, right? We want to address those things. So, and then it said, if he hears you, right? That means when y'all working this out, when y'all working it out, that's what you need to do. And it said that you have gained. We want to be a people that gain. That's what we want to do. We want to gain, not to separate, not to tear down. We will have issues with one another. But if we gain our brother, and that's what we're trying to do, it's critical that we gain them, right? And so I'm going to start with me. I'm coming in this situation because I want to gain you. What did I do? What can I do better? Well, what about this? Well, what about that? And so many times, though, what you have to do is you have to put me aside, the I aside, because you are more valuable to me as my brother, the one that I will die for, the one what I will serve. It's more important. And if he hears you, you gain. And you gain somebody special. You gain your brother. You gain your sister. Because there can be problems, right? And because 16 would tell you, but if he does not hear. So in the process, right, in this judgment here, of course, you're going to the courts here. I'm kind of pulling this out to realize that this can be a base for unsolved issues, right? But it is a possibility that he won't hear you or she won't hear you or y'all can't come to it, right? And so then you want to take it higher in that. And definitely we're thinking about leadership. If you're thinking about the job, you got your manager. Where do you go? You go to their manager, right? So you take it higher. And some of us been in the military. We know about what we call the chain of command. You take it higher, right? Because why? It won't. You want the person to resolve it on this level. But if it can't get resolved on that level, because it is so important, right, that we don't carry this problem, this issue on. We calling it an issue. You feeling the issue. We calling it an issue. If we don't carry it on, we can't carry it on. It is so important that you take out time to gather somebody else, take somebody else with you, right? Because now you taking your family member. You just ain't grabbing somebody that's agreeing with you. You're taking a family member because they're not listening to you. This is a call and a cry for help because I have an issue and I want it to be fixed, right? We want this between us to be fixed because we want the shalom. I want to be able to embrace you. I want to be able to serve you. I can't do that with issues in my life. I can't do it, right? I said I got to have somebody listen to me. Listen, right? That by the mouth of two or more witnesses, that Torah, right? That all these words everywhere, every word might be what established, confirmed, must be solid, Because when it comes from somebody else, right? And say, brother, we ought to be able to, why can't you, have you looked at it this way? And so I don't bring, in other words, somebody don't come together. They come together because they come together with a heart of love, knowing that these two brothers cannot seem to get this on the right track. And so I come and say, well, brother, have you ever think about this? Have you thought about that? Why can't we do that? Is it some kind of agreement that we can come to? You see? Is there something that we can come to, right? Because we need this, because it should have been solved. Listen to this. Listen to me. It should have been solved in verse 15, right? When you went to him, it shouldn't have never get to this here to take two or more. But every time we are not where we should be, right? We are different. Some are more mature. But there is always safety in Yah. There's always safety in him. So when you take two or more and let them establish this thing, we don't want to listen. Because there could be a refusal here. He said, if he refused, there could be one. If he refused to do what? To hear them. Not him, he said them. After you bring them, if you refuse, right? And say it to then you're going to do? Say it to the assembly. Right? Now, this is a structure here, right? That's the reason I know you need structure, because it's just telling you how to do this structure here. And if he refused even to hear the assembly, right? So, other words, the whole tribe said, wait a minute, because maybe I did bring my friends, but when you take it to the assembly, now we're dealing with leadership here. When you come off into that, right? And then other words, you have to treat them in a certain way. Listen, if you don't get your issues resolved, right, then it said, let him be like a what? Yes, a Gentile or a tax collector. So you can move your status. And that's what most people doing. They're moving their status, and they don't know they didn't move their status, because it should not even, if you cannot listen to the assembly, you move your status. Right? It goes to a Gentile. Well, you said, well, how can it be a Gentile? I'm in the kingdom. I'm in kingdom. People stop at verse 15. And then sometime I'm in my flesh, and maybe you go get somebody else. But about that time, we are hugging on one another's neck and crying with one another according to what it is. And I'm thanking my brothers for coming. I didn't see it like that. I praise, just give him all the praise and the honor and the glory. But if I am still stubborn in such a way, then after it goes to the leadership of the assembly. Now, I open it up. Once you go to the leadership there, right, there's only one way. If you don't settle it, then it's an exit, right? And that exit is you be treated like that. So you're treated like the expression here, it is treated just like somebody is out of the covenant of Yah, right? Because this is real serious. I know sometimes we just kind of read through this, but this is a serious situation. We must endure to the end. You just can't do what you want to do. I know we put it out there. I know that it's popular to do what you want to do, but it's not set up that way. In our scriptures, they tell us it's not set up that way, right? So these unresolved issues, we got to be able to listen, to do what you want to do. Now, you can do what you want to do, and when you want to do it. But you know what I'm going to do too? I'm going to go out of verse 17 here again. And then this is what we're going to do. You're going to be like who? A Gentile tax collector. And then most of you, if you don't know what that is, then you Google that tax collector. That Gentile just means nation, and that could get confusion. But you see what in that century, at the time then, right? There was like an outcast. How many know that if somebody's the tax man come to you, he's not the favorite one, right? He just doing his job, but he's not the. Other words, it's outward. You're not connected because you're not listening. You're not connected because you're not listening, right? So I didn't write this. I did not pen this. Other words, I did not translate this even, right? But it is a serious issue. And so in order for us to not having or contribute to ongoing stressful situations, this will stress you out if you continue to have unresolved issues. It will stress you out. You will be somewhere where you shouldn't be, right? Because it had not been resolved. It's an issue that needs to be resolved. So what I need to do is I need to make sure I need to acknowledge that I do have a problem, whatever that problem may be, or that we have a problem. I got to get an understanding. So that's when you come into your brother, because you're trying to get the understanding, because you are actively working towards something. What are you actively working towards? A solution, right? You want to bring closure to it, right? Closure. You want to close the door. Have you ever closed the door to something you can't see inside? Once you close the door, all things being equal, if you close the door at your house, right? You cannot see. That's the reason you close your door. Why? Because people can't see on the inside. We don't know what's going on. So it's a closed door. The door is closed. That issue is closed. But if the door is open, right, it will always be open. You can always see into that situation. So it's very, very important that we do that, that we carry that. In Romans 15:2, and it talks about, one, but we who are strong, right? So these are levels. So when you're taking somebody else, just make sure if you're grabbing somebody, they strong enough. Why? What we doing? We bearing something up though, right? We doing something there, because there's somebody that is weak, right? So we always looking at it. So we are not here, and this is what I like here, not here to do what? To please ourselves. You understand? The only reason I can't resolve that issue with two people on the job or whatever, because somebody has got into themselves. And it will not work unless you have both parties doing this, right? It's not one party doing it. But if he's a brother, everybody at the job may not be a brother. So this could look a little different. Right? But don't let it be you. When I say look a little different, the same attitude or the same care is there. But it has to, in order for this have to work, it has to be two that come to an agreement. And if we if we both are serving the Father, what is the problem? Somebody has got it, that somebody has gotten off track. Other words, when you have a disagreement, you know what a disagreement is? It's a lack of being aligned with one another. So it's your lack being aligned with the things of the Father. It's my lack being aligned with the things of the Father, right? Whatever manner that might be in, it is I am lacking. And then most times I am choosing not to, right? So now you can. Even the Father says you choose. Now go ahead. You can choose whatever you want to, but he also told me what to do. Once I made that, then when I see you, I need to stop calling you brother. Why? Because you're a Gentile or a tax collector. Which one you want me to call you? I didn't do it. You did it. Because all of this is done in the things of Torah, not just how I feel about something. You see, and these issues here are in relationship to your walk with the Father, and then the transgressions of things against me, right? So we need to, verse 2, it says, do what? Let each one of us, we need to please our neighbor. For it's good for us to do it. It's good for us to do it, for it is good. Why? And that's one of the things that we always talking about on Power Up is to build up, right? Is to build up. So somehow I always get back to this. But if we do not resolve those issues, then the fresh issues that come, we'll just bring the baggage with us. Let the baggage go. Other words, let it go, right? We have to let it go, right? And it takes up to you because, listen, anytime you have conflict, you're going to have your emotions going to get involved in that. And then it's going to be tension. Right? It's always going to be that negative feelings. You have negative feelings. Then they run over to anger. Then what you do? You get some resentment, a frustration. All of those things come. So when something else come up because I didn't deal with the other, I'm already frustrated, right? I'm already angry at you. You know, I've been resenting you ever since that last one because it wasn't really resolved. When I asked you, was everything all right? Yeah, everything all right. But it wasn't all right because I didn't close the door. The door the door is still open, swung wide open. It's still there. And this will have an impact on your relationship. Whether it's your job, whether, you know, you put it in there. Even at the job, you have to get things straight. You have to get things clear. You have to ask questions. If you don't understand, ask questions, right? That's the best thing to do in that. But you're going to have issues and they're going to keep coming. We are not, you know, we're going to have the issue, but how you handle it, you know, we wouldn't even have to put that in Matthew if we never was going to have an issue with your brother. You're going to have that. That's part of it. That's part of family. You know, we're going to have those things. So the overall relationship, though, between those of us that are in covenant with him, right? That's a personal relationship with one another, right? We have those things as a group. So we have to have a connection there. So we have to get rid of those things. It is important that we get rid of those things in that. Let's go to Galatians chapter 6. And it says in verse 2, it was talking about bear what? One another's burdens. Most time that's heavy, right? Most time that's heavy. That's a burden. You don't understand some things, right? And so complete the Torah of the Messiah, right? So if we want to be complete, we have to resolve. It's going to take time to listen, take time, sit down and talk about it, air it out, cry it out, whatever it is. But when you leave that table, right? A table being the idiom of judgment. When you leave that, it ought to be solved, though, you know, or have some direction. What's the next move will be, you know. And so it's very important as we walk. This walk is so, excuse me, it is so much going on, right? So, you know, how do you think of yourself? It says, if anyone think himself to be somebody. Oh, man. Are we reading? Are we reading that? If you think you are somebody, right? If you think you are somebody. It said when he's not, what'd he do? We will deceive our own self. So what we have to do is let us examine, right? This is something we have to do. We have to be a people of examination. That's how you get through this. So it's a daily thing. When you wake up, we praising the Father, right? And we examine those things. As we go to work, we examine those things. So we examine different areas of our life. We'll examine those things, right? We have to do that. And then that way, if we do that, we realize that we shouldn't be boastful for nothing we do, you know. So I'm not going to say that, you know, I'm better than you. How can I say that? I ain't going to boast. I was there too, right? That's the reason my love can be there, right? Those that forgiven much, they'll love much. Did you ever know that? That's what them scriptures said. If we do that, I'm paraphrasing, if we do that, right? So if you need help, for your burden is there, right? But you have to be responsible too to carry your load in that. Right? Because we have to share in the things of the word. We have to do that. It is very, very important. And so when we're dealing with these unresolved issues, I'm not going to be, I know I had a hard start, and we were starting those things off and trying to see how and what we want to do. We want to make sure that the issues get resolved. And so one of the things is we can start now. Right? You start now. You know the issue that's on your mind. Those things that you can get that resolved. You see, because if you let it linger, it just gonna grow. It's gonna be tainted and all of those things. So there's steps that we can make to get those issues resolved. right? Families, you have your family. They have the husband and wife, grandpa and all of that. Everybody has to immediately address. Come on, immediately address those things. It's okay, right? It's a way to do it. You can honor one another and address the things too, right? Without elevating yourself. And just like we were saying here, what we have do you have a burden that you need me to help you with? I come in time of help because I love you so much. I can't have this tension among us. Husband and wife, I can't have this tension among us. We love one another, right? It's too much tension. I can feel it. Have you ever did that? You can feel it. You can go somewhere, you can feel it. You just know it's in the room, right? You can't have that. You can see it because it shows through your face. It shows through your character. And it's not the character of the Most High. And so we have to get those issues resolved. Because if not, everyone is frustrated. We don't want to be a frustrated people. We don't have a desire to be a frustrated people, right? So this is the reason the Father wants us to walk in shalom. And we definitely going to walk in shalom with one another, right? And we don't want those things to impact our relationship with one another. So we wanted to deal with it. So deal quickly with the issues that you have, right? And it'll bring about, now this is a key word, it brings about healing. Praise Yah, hallelujah. It brings about some healing, right? There's some healthy boundaries there. And we always want to deal with health, right? We always want to deal with that. We want to make it healthy in that, right? And so we can be able to provide solutions for one another, right? To help one another. This is what it's about. To pray for one another. How am I going to pray for you and I got issues with you? I need to pray for you, right? We need to work these things out. And then if you can't work them out, that's when you have somebody else to come. And I'm saying that even that second, get somebody, or get you talking the eldership, you talking wisdom here now, that's what we're talking about. So whatever it might be, because when I have an issue with you, then I have a void. It's a void. I go to work and I don't want to be here. Why? Because I got an issue with this coworker, right? I got an issue here. Even with that, I got an issue. And so we always want those issues solved. I was thinking, early, man, where was that at though? I think it's like in Matthew, but I was thinking about the young lady with the issue of blood and how she had it for so long, right? It was an issue in her life. And so sometimes you have those issues that you need to make sure that they getting taken care of, but you have to make a honest effort to do it. That's what you need to do. All right. And so you can identify it and look at it, right? And solve these issues, right? Because it definitely be a deal breaker for you. And then there will be shalom because now you prepare for the next one. Don't let them pile up. It's difficult when they pile up. So don't let them pile up. Hallelujah. Don't let them pile up because it is difficult to do that, right? In that. So I just want to, those of you that are joining us and in the room, I want to go ahead and put you out and give you a shout out here. And we're going to get ready to close this out. I think I did those things. I appreciate you so very much. And maybe you listen to it. Just listen to my heart. One of the things that I know that is always, I don't never really explain. But I'm just coming from a shepherd's heart. Different ones have different focus, but the Father has gave shepherds to us to make sure that we stay in alignment, right? And so these are some of the things that once you come into the kingdom, then you need shepherds to help to make sure that we stay in alignment. And so those are power up moments. This is what they are. And so I'm coming yet from the experience of life, The book is okay too, but I'm coming from when I say books, books that we write, that people write, that say this is what you want to do, this is what you need to do. But I'm coming and telling you from the experience of my life, right? If you desire Shalom, you got to get rid of the issues. And it's no great revelation. This is what the Father has told us to do. You understand? But you have a choice to do that. We always have a choice, no matter what we do. We made the choice, right? Stop blaming Hasatan. Stop blaming everyone else. You the one made that choice. And you have chosen to do it. And guess what? The Most High is going to let you do it. Whatever choice you need to make, that's what you do. Because he know you should know and understand, right? Don't be a person of regret. Because see, regret sometimes having you never would have had to do it in the first place. Right? Don't be that way, because when you do that, you understand, when you come back and all those things, and I think, well, okay, I'm gonna go somewhere else. Okay. That's praise Yah. Hallelujah. So, again, thank all of you. Sorry about, I don't know why it froze up. And matter of fact, I still had it going here while I was talking and it still never connected. But that's all right. I realize that things happen and we are going forward always in those things. Why? Because we want to resolve those issues. So when you're gonna start? Okay. All right. Tomorrow. Right. Yeah. So those are the things. Think about it. And then maybe it's the, even if you think it's not an issue, just make sure that it's clear with your brother. Many times, somebody will come up and they say, oh, okay, I'm sorry about so and so. I said, well, when did that happen? Right? I didn't even know that's happened. But in their mind, it might have happened. Right? Why? Because the love, and I'm using me as a situation, for the love for me, they want to clear, they want to get that unresolved issue there. So I didn't have the issue, but they had the issue, whatever the issue might have been. Or they thought that it might have been something with the issue, right? They might have been doing that. So just always keep it clear and always give thanks to the Most High for our brothers. And without my brothers, we're not going to make it. Without our sisters, we're not going to make it. You just ain't going to make it. Yeah, in that. So it is viable that we need one another. And so if we can get that in the head, then we'll treat one another as the way that we should be treated, right? We talking about we in the kingdom. This is the thread of the kingdom. Thread of the kingdom of Yah. All right. So let us continue to repent, right? And then when we do that, we turn from those things. It's very, very important. All right, we're going to go ahead and close it out. My brother, I missed you. I don't know if you quite y'all made it at the place of where you're going to work at, but I thank the Father for all of you, and I thank the Father for every one that listens and takes out time to listen. I hope that somehow that you understand my heart is that my heart wants you to have a shalom with your brothers and sisters. And some of us been wanting a relationship with our brothers and sisters and just didn't know how. You know how? You got to resolve that issue. And you can do it. You can do it. All right. Shalom, shalom to the whole house of Israel.